for this. I know you probably have had a busy summer and lots of things going on.
A lot of things going on. Some of it's been quite quiet, but some of it's been very busy, I suppose.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we'll have a year of furlough. We started visiting churches and whatnot really in September is when we started properly.
Okay.
Circumstances. Whereas normally we would schedule the whole year.
Hmm.
We're scheduling a couple months at a time in kind of small chunks based on, what circumstances are at various places.
Yeah,
Even
that's
that,
right. That's right.
It's all subject to change, isn't it? So we've done all sorts of different things. We've got a trip coming up this next week. We're doing a parking lot in
Worship
cars,
service.
worship
Oh.
service.
Okay.
On 88.1, if you happen to be in the South Eugene area, you'll find us on 88.1 FM.
Okay.
Because that's where you'll be able to hear us. If you're in the parking lot, you'll be able to see us across the way.
We've
Uh-huh.
done Zoom life groups and in person, outside, and every
Yeah.
kind of combination. So
Yeah.
flexibility is the key word for us
Yeah.
all, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It is. Yeah. Well, thank you for being flexible with this.
It's been interesting, obviously, since the coronavirus stuff started in the beginning of the year. That was quite frustrating because, in terms of making plans and wanting to work plans and trying to be people who are wise with our decisions and wise with our time and steward that well, that's been completely frustrated and upended.
Mhm.
But at the same time, in the process of that, I heard, just a real conviction from God that, God's work hasn't stopped. God's work hasn't stopped. Yes, so many things that all of us are involved in have been thwarted or certainly diverted or delayed, but God's still in the business of redeeming the world and drawing people to himself. And so I was like, okay, and what's my part in that? I can't, there's so many things in the world I can't sort, but what's my responsibility in that? And as we were thinking about furlough, we said, well, our responsibility is to come back to the States here and to see as many of our partners as we can, hopefully, hopefully everybody, and be able to say, God's been doing some great stuff in England. And so that's what our responsibility remains the same, so it doesn't matter what's going on in the world around us. Our responsibility of making disciples, of helping start new congregations and like I say, in furlough, testifying to what God's doing. Yeah. Our role is the same. We get to do that, and we're doing that the best we can in terms of the circumstances we have. So,
since we came back in the middle of July, then we got our son settled. Finn, he's 16, and he's doing his senior year in high school here. We've got him settled, and then we've really in September just started visiting churches and. Again, being able to share in a variety of circumstances, but being able to share has been good. And we plan to then just continue that through the rest of the year, planning ahead in small chunks.
Okay. Yeah, furlough, it does not equate to vacation, does it?
No, I thought of this phrase years ago for my friends in England, but then I realized it's an analogy that doesn't work. In American baseball, when the pitcher is pitching, in England they would say, oh, he's bowling, but no, he's pitching. But when he's pitching, every once in a while there'll be a changeup, but the fact is he's still pitching. He's doing a changeup, and it's a very different kind of pitching. But that's what I feel like what we're doing. In the course of our life as missionaries, we do a given work, but then furlough is a change-up. It's definitely not vacation. My English friends, when they come to America, they come here on vacation. When I come to America, it's work. And we try to do fun things along the way, seeing family and friends. So it is a blessing, and it can be renewing. But the fact is, no, it's a change-up. It's just a different part of the responsibility of our roles. So
that's an exciting thing that we get to share is that we definitely plan to go back. To England. We have a heart to go back to England. We feel like God's called us there, and we have a heart to do that. But we don't know where we're going back to. We do feel that our time in rugby is completed. We've had 11 years ministry there. And so we feel like that time has come to completion, but we're still looking for where God leads us next.
Mhm.
We had started that process before we left England, looking, having meetings, exploring options.
Mhm.
But then some of the main ways that we had planned to do that were in April and May, and those things didn't happen.
Yeah.
But we trust that God knows, you know,
Mhm.
he knows we need an open door, and he knows we need a next ministry setting, and in the right time, he'll guide us to that.
Amen.
So that was good. But yeah, in the coming months, it's I mean, most of our partner churches are between Sacramento and the Seattle area,
Okay.
the top of the sound there. But we also have 40 partner families, and these people, they don't stay in one place. They used to be in our partner churches, but now they've moved around. So we have 40 partner families that live in 15 different states, and they don't even live on the West Coast. They're coast to coast. So so we've got to go down south and across the Midwest and over to the south or the southeast. And then we also have one partner church in Maryland. We'll get over to visit them at some point as well. But there's also some folks in the upper portion of the Bible Belt to visit as well. I mean, that's all East Coast to me. But
Yeah.
Probably at some point in the late spring, and maybe again in the early summer, or later towards summer, we'll take a trip back to England to explore some ministry opportunities, so that we start having ramping up those kinds of conversations.
Right.
Had intended to have this just a dramatic and very traditional
Big British wedding.
And he's math and numbers are a big thing for him, and so he wanted to get married on 06/06/2020. Well, 06/06/2020 was not to be. We had that date, but the government in the UK still did not allow weddings. They didn't allow weddings until, actually, ironically, until the 4th of July. The 4th of July, Independence Day, was the first day in the UK when weddings were allowed. So he and his fiance, boom, came July 4. They were one of the thousands of folks around the country that, okay, that's the first day weddings are going to happen. And so they got to plan, and they had a week to plan. They had a week to plan and get the building ready. And we
had a lovely day with a very small group, but they were able to have their bridesmaids and groomsmen, and then the two core families, and it was wonderful. So Reese and Hope got married, and they're now started on their new married life.
Because again, his work hasn't stopped. You know, if it's an opportunity for us to think differently and you know, share the gospel differently, to disciple differently, then let's do it. But let's not let's recognize that, okay, this shouldn't we shouldn't just aim, oh, let's go back to the way everything was before.
Right.
It's an opportunity to okay, what can we reboot in this program? Cause everybody pause.
Yeah.
I think in our lockdown situation, and I would guess you did as well, that for many people it is that chance to reflect and, oh, I can be with my family, I can have some downtime, I can get into a better balance and rhythm of life. And if we don't take those lessons, I think we will really have societally missed a big opportunity. We'll be up to Seattle. We're thinking that'll be probably early spring, maybe.
Okay.
The worst of winter, and hopefully with COVID. But we will be up, and we'll look forward to spending time.
That would be wonderful.